For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. That's a great quote. That's disciples watching Jesus pull demons out of people. And when the demon was asked what its name was, it said, We are Legion because we are many, which is a great fucking quote, by the way. And kind of a horrible quote. Makes the demon seem kind of rad. But I just love that idea of we are Legion because we are many. And that almost becoming somewhat of a revelation to Jesus, strangely enough, in that moment, in the Bible anyway. So here we are for Exorcists. Thinking of that, I think, is probably one of the more interesting things about the Exorcists, this religious horror. Our mortal bodies are just these very finite things, but our souls being in danger is a real existential fear. And when you dip back into the old Bible, it's pretty fucking scary for lots of people. So here we are. What do you think, Scott? Do you know the demon's name?
Pazuzu.
Is it? That's the question. That's the central question I have.
You don't know. It doesn't let you know. The demon or whoever is in Reagan just says it's the devil, which I love that it kind of plays tricks. It doesn't really tell you who it is. It doesn't let you know.
Father of lies.
Yeah.
Prince of lies, if I'm not mistaken. That's the actual title. So disclaimer, I do not know a lot about religion. I don't think any of us know a ton about it, but I've read quite a bit about this, and I was very curious as to I think one of the interesting parts about this movie, and something I didn't expect to find as interesting this time around, was all of this stuff in the beginning. This little Indiana Jones movie up front, which was Merrin doing some sort of archaeological work in Iraq, or Iraq, as it should be pronounced. Iraq, yeah. And in him coming across these statues and being unnerved by what he found, and just this dialogue-less opening that gives us a sense of time and almost a sense of timelessness. One of the reasons I opened the show with that quote was because you're talking about Iraq. You're talking about Sumerian culture, Mesopotamia. You're talking about the Mesopotamia, right? Between rivers, I believe it means, the Euphrates and the Tigris. This is modern day. Mesopotamia is all of Iraq, and then some of Syria, some of Iran, if I'm not mistaken. So we're talking many, many years ago. And at the outset of this movie, it is right before Saddam Hussein's about to take this fucking country over, which is interesting. It's a very different looking country, isn't it?
Right?
But
they don't look like such a bad place.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. And the Pazuzu comment I like, because I know that Merrin comes across Pazuzu finding something, finding this statue. And when you look into any of this with modern technology, you'll see Pazuzu goes back to the days of Mesopotamia, before Iraq was Iraq, before any of this stuff. In that sense of scale, I think is when you start to make things quite terrifying.
Yeah, when you go back that many years, what was the Mesopotamia was like, what, 6,000 years or something?
Dude, it is so long ago that I have a couple of dates written down. Do you want me to get into it a little?
Yeah.
So Mesopotamia reaches into deep antiquity, obviously. The Sumerians, Mesopotamia, I don't know much about Mesopotamia as a culture, but Mesopotamia is more like multiple places like Assyrians, Akkad, and all this stuff, all kind of in the same spot. But they are around 5th and 6th century BCE. So you have to try to wrap your head around that for a minute. And I think it really ups the scales of horror in this, because imagine this. I'm going to give you some dates just to give you a frame of reference. Mesopotamian civilization, 5th, 6th century, around that time. way before the pyramids are built. Okay, so you're going way before pyramids. Not just before the pyramids are built, but before before Abrahamic religion, in a sense, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So take some dates. Jesus was allegedly crucified in 43 AD or CE, if you want to be a fucking history nerd. So that is 5,043 years later.
Yep.
Think about that just for a minute. 43 AD, okay? But it would behoove me to go probably before Christianity and go to Judaism. So Pazuzu predates Christ by 3,000 years. Think about that.
Yeah,
okay?
That kind of scale of time is we're not supposed to be able to comprehend.
You can't comprehend it.
It's just so far away. I mean, you have your Babylonians, you said Sumerians.
Yep. Sumerian was like the first recorded civilization that had like cuneiform, like writing and shit, if I'm not mistaken. They invented like the wheel, I think.
That's
something
crazy.
So now stop for just a second. So this predates the pyramids by 500 years. I think we're talking circa 2,500, 2,600 for the pyramids, okay? And remember, BCE counts backwards.
Yeah, once you hit 0, you go backwards.
Now, according to Judaism, Abraham, also predates Jesus, was born in 1813 BCE, and he died, I think, in 1638. He was apparently 175 when he died.
Jesus.
He was told by God, you will get long years, etc. So anyway, so Abraham's born in 1813, thereabouts, right? Pazuzu still predates Abraham. And I'm not even at Moses in the Exodus yet, Scott. Think about that. So Abraham, you were saying? Go ahead.
I was just saying, because Moses is way later in time.
Way after. Yeah, Abraham's the beginner. He's the one who gets the Torah down from the fucking... So Judaism starts somewhere apparently around that time, right? Let me check. According to Judaism, Abraham's born around 18... Oh, no. Maybe I have that wrong. He lived until 1638 BCE, so 175 years old. Moses' Exodus was 1280 BCE. Again. So
400 years later.
Think about this. What's interesting about Mesopotamia is that they don't even, like, Pazuzu is one of many, right? This polytheistic sort of thing, right?
Yes.
It's one of many ideas that come out of this area. But before that, they don't even worship objects yet. They're more interested in weather. So the people didn't even consider religion as personal until they got away from the weather stuff, like praying to the weather, and then going more into like objects, etc. Again, this is cursory research. Please don't kill me if you're an actual person who knows a lot about religion.
Coming for you in the comments.
So, yeah, I think Judaism starts somewhere shortly after, my guess would be Abraham, right? Because these dates are just wild, man. So if he lived 175 years, right. And he was born somewhere in modern day, did they call it Canaan? Or I don't know how that's pronounced.
I think it's Canaan.
It's modern day Jerusalem and Palestine. Not touching that one. But that's apparently where he was born, right in that area, right? As well as everybody else, by the way.
Exactly. All the religions. Well, Abraham, the three main Abrahamic religions all have their Holy Land in one spot.
Correct. More or less. Mecca's in Saudi Arabia on the western coast.
Yeah.
But yeah, close enough. So, right? Isn't Mecca on the west coast of, it's near it's not the shores of the Red Sea, but it's on the west coast of Saudi Arabia, I think. Sometimes my geography is not great in the Middle East. I will admit it could be better.
Yeah, I'm weak on it as well.
Moses' Exodus. So you got Abraham. Now, Torah, here we go. Now Exodus, meaning Moses, that's somewhere around 1280, 1290, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, because the Egyptians were around. They left Egypt.
Correct. And you don't even have... So it's weird because, so now let's stick Christianity in it. Because, by the way, Islam comes after. People forget this.
Yes.
That's like
After
600
Christianity.
AD. It's way fucking after, right? So before that, you have the Christianity, and you have, it's the Battle of Milvian Bridge for you history nerds out there, right? Which is when Constantine, and that was around 312 AD, October, by the way. He had a battle. He had a vision.
Saw the cross.
Saw the cross. By the way, Rome, not too kind to Christians. Just ask Jesus. They were like, stop fucking with the peace bullshit. Yeah. You're fucking up the whole thing we have going on here. And there was a lot of Christians already. And that's the thing. They were like secretly meeting. It was like a cabal. They would meet and have to hide, right?
They were a secret mystic cult.
Yeah, they were hiding. They were trying to understand, and they had to be not quite public about it. And then after Milvian Bridge, so Milvian Bridge is in 312, Constantine's victorious. In 313, he issues the Edict of Milan, which is like, stop killing Christians. And it's rumored that he was Christian at the time. Now, there's a lot of debate about this because some say he wasn't baptized till he was about to die, Constantine. But he did die a Christian.
Yes, he did. He also converted everyone. He forced Rome to go from your multi-theism to, multi-god to nothing. Polytheism to monotheism.
Now, rewind to the start of this conversation. 5th century BCE. 5,000 years before any of this shit. There's this culture, this civilization, maybe one of the first. There's no pyramids. The pyramids are a fucking idea. Think about that.
That's so weird to think about because we think of them as being, the farthest reaches of human ingenuity into the past, but it's really not. It's not even close.
Not even close. And I think that's probably, it's easy to watch this with a modern eye, to watch The Exorcist with a modern eye and go, oh, the effects aren't quite as good. I don't know if it's quite that scary, blah, blah, blah. But you have to stop for a minute and put yourself in a time period in America. And I think I'm giving a lot of historical context today because I think it'll give you a sense of scope as to religion and how ancient it is for all of us as a species, right? Going way back, the Mesopotamian, from all of that stuff, from the fucking wind to objects, Pazuzu, you name it. Now, I'm led to believe Pazuzu was considered at sometimes a protector god. Like there was a lot of Pazuzu heads fashioned into necklaces that pregnant women would wear, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is kind of neat. So I thought that was kind of cool. And now we know that lots of religions, when they're attempting to expand, especially expand aggressively, and especially expand aggressively with human malice behind it, they'll do things like bastardize other religions in an attempt to, look at what Christianity did to the pagans, for example, right? And I think maybe Pazuzu becoming, because the word demon is thrown around, I think that's, I think the Abrahamic religions aren't really down with the idea of a demon. I don't think Muhammad, peace be upon him, or Abraham or Jesus are big demon fans, if I want to go out on a limb.
And I think that's because it's besmirching what was before when they wanted to change things. Because Pazuzu was originally like the personification of a southwest wind.
Indeed.
It was like a wind
exactly. Demon. That's coming away from weather and into object, right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's neat. Yeah. So as we push forward and we think about this tale, Reagan, I hear it pronounced two ways, even in the movie. And this decision for this malevolent entity to go after her. And at the top, we talked about Pazuzu. Is it Pazuzu? I don't know. Marin sees the statue, gets a weird feeling, and we see an image of Pazuzu at one point during the exorcism at the end. But what could that be? Could that be something in Marin's mind? Is Marin haunted by what he saw in Iraq? What's the story? I don't really know the exact thought, the exact thing there, but I don't know if it matters. But I'm curious as to what you think. And Maj is here too. We got a triple cam when we need it.
To be honest, when I saw Pazuzu, when the light is shining behind Reagan and Pazuzu's shadow's there, I saw that as the defense part, that Pazuzu has come to defend Reagan, because Pazuzu was.
I love this idea.
They wore Pazuzu's head as a defensive charm, as you said, especially pregnant women. It was about the protection of the domestic, the home, the family.
That's right.
And I don't see that as a demon negatively. I think it was the demon trying to protect her from whatever had her within his thralls or its thralls. I didn't see it as a malevolent force.
I can't podcast with an apostate. I just can't do it.
So I had a thought.
Let me go to the Guth camp.
I had a thought about the opening shot, or not opening shot, but the first shot of entering Reagan's home, where we have this camera flying closer to the house, and her window is blown open. A wind demon. He's a wind demon. That's potentially something they did intentionally.
I like it.
Yeah. And I think that is, I took it as Pazuzu or whatever it is possessing her entering their home, because the mom comes in and closes the window, and it repeats. The window gets blown open multiple times.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the wind, it's just a connection there.
It is a cool connection, but it does. It's funny. So on the one hand, Scott's saying, well, maybe Pazuzu is there to help protect against some sort of malevolent entity, and then Maja is saying maybe the wind demon is there to go after her, and then the question remains why. And I think that's one of the most horrifying ideas is why. What does the demon want? What does it want to do, right? I think evil for evil's sake is probably a horrifying idea. And I had to write a bunch of thoughts about this idea right here. So I'm going to reference them. I might read a little bit of this because it might be a little easier for me. But I'm thinking on the fly here with some of these notes I've taken. So hear me out, and I want to talk about this. And I'll leave your camera on because I think you're going to want to chime in, right?
Okay.
So first, I love the idea that a demon would attack a weaker individual in a child, somebody impressionable, somebody at 12, somebody starting to enter adolescence, somebody that's going to have a lot of emotions, hormones, things making them confused, right? It's just a vulnerable time in one's life. Middle school is rough, right? Now, a kid being an easier target also creates sort of this, how do I want to say it, like a spiritual havoc, because it damages everybody involved, because you're seeing a kid be victimized, and that's fucking terrible. Now, I think the book makes it clear that Pazuzu wants to create doubt in God by inhabiting Reagan.
Okay.
Reagan. Now, I think the book makes that clear. Additionally, there is a scene that's axed from the final cut of this movie where Marin and, is it Father Karras?
Yeah.
Karras,
Father Karras, great name, by the way, come to this conclusion. And this is where I think I love this movie. First of all, this movie is fucking amazing. I think as a society in the early 70s, how do I want to say this? I think Reagan's mom says, no, we're not religious. But what she doesn't say is we don't believe in God. And I think Scott will agree with me because he's a bit older. I think this was something we would see. I think even as a kid, especially in my rebellious years, I never didn't believe in God. I was just like, fuck that, right? And I think in the 70s, people had sort of that idea. You wouldn't say that shit in the 50s, but in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, there's always the one atheist cool kid who thought he was cool. He's like, God's not real. But then most of us were like, well, I'm not religious. I don't go to church, but I believe in God. And I think that's probably the sentiment in the 70s. Do you think that's true?
Yeah. Like you look at this in today's eyes, it's very hard to understand. But in the 70s, especially in the early 70s, most people were religious. Whether they went to church or not, they were religious.
What does that mean to you? Before you continue, I want to hold you down on that.
Okay.
If you're saying you don't go to church but you're religious, what exactly does that mean?
they have the same moral belief as
Okay.
religions.
Okay.
They have this, like, my family, I was baptized Protestant. We never went to church, but I was still baptized. So, I mean, my parents followed.
Fucking proddy cunt.
Yeah, that's right. The troubles.
I'm going to firebomb your ass.
That's
you
right.
fucking apostate.
Hey, man, I'm from England. What do you want from me?
Yeah. They
but
were fucking beautiful and Catholic once.
You were, but not anymore. But
Keep going.
but they followed, even though my parents never went to church, they never prayed, they never did any of that. They still believed in God, and they still followed the moral teachings of their religion.
Yes.
Now, and this was very common at that time. And in the
when you
early
say
80s when I
moral
was born.
teachings, that's again, pardon me for wanting more specifics, because I think I'm interested in that. Meaning what? Don't kill people, don't steal. Stuff
Yeah, like the same.
I mean,
like
you know,
I
that's
was
pretty-
raised.
It's kind of
pretty
widespread
basic.
moral beliefs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That may
but
predate Abrahamic religion.
It does, of course. But in my childhood, it was, you followed what was taught to them and taught from their parents and so on, going back.
Sure.
Even though my parents were not religious, my dad believed in God. My mother believes in God. But they don't. It's something they think about, but it's not something that rules their day in and day out.
Sure.
And
They accept it as almost like that's it, but I can't really indulge in that life other than
I'm not going to
just-
mass.
Correct.
I'm not going to Christmas mass. I'm not going to Sunday mass. But it was still a thought in the back of their head. It was still something that was there, even though they didn't follow it. They still thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the 70s, you had a lot of rebellion from a lot of things.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think this is right before people started going, yeah, I don't believe this. I'm not into this. Maybe it's real, but I'm not gonna talk shit on it. I'm just not gonna follow it. And that's
Right.
what Reagan's family does. Is
Yes.
they're not religious, but I have a feeling they believe in God still.
I see. That's the question I have. What do you think about Reagan's mom, Masha? Do you think she's just saying we're not religious is very different than saying we don't believe in God?
Right. I mean, I would say most people have like a belief in some kind of a higher force.
Even
At this time, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But maybe the split from like actual practicing religion was kind of happening. And this would have been the time when my parents were growing up and they like got out of church.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never baptized because of that.
Right. Oh, great. I'm surrounded by fucking heathens.
That's what you get.
So going back to my rant, so if, and hear me out, if Pazuzu is trying to create doubt in God, according to the book, and a scene cut from the movie, so maybe that's not true in the movie, but let's just say for fun it is, I think, let me ask you guys this question. I'll start with Maja and then I'll go to Scott. Maja, if you witness the events of The Exorcist as a witness, would you be more inclined or less inclined to believe in God?
Interesting question.
I'm asking you the same question, Scott.
I'm thinking.
Well, to go back to how I felt about this movie the first time I saw it, I was more disturbed by just the loss of control. I wasn't considering the religious aspects as much, and that's maybe something that I'm thinking about more as I've gotten older. But yeah, I mean, to witness something so powerful, so other than human, beyond human, it would kind of force you to believe in something. And I mean, I do believe in definitely something. I believe anything is possible. I believe anybody could have the right thing. We just somebody's going to be right about it. Somebody's not. And I probably would be a little more willing to believe in God. Would I witness this kind of a situation?
Scott?
I have, in my younger years, my aggressive younger years, I was less temperate to religion. I was like, we just die. We blink out and we're done. Who cares? Whatever.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, obviously, when mortality starts creeping closer to you and things you never thought about come into your realm of living, you think a little differently. I'm still questionable about that. I'm still, obviously, I keep everything open. I don't besmirch anyone for thinking as they do. That being said, if I saw someone losing their mind and freaking out and being thrown around like that, it would definitely push me into a higher power, maybe not a god, but something else beyond our capacity, beyond our abilities, that might be whatever made us. Because you watch the scenes she's in, she's being thrown around. That's not something you see that corporeal bodies can do.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. The reason I asked the question was because going back to Pazuzu trying to create a doubt in God by manifesting this power, you both just admitted would have potentially the opposite effect on you. And I think that's an interesting question to people in 2023. Now, let's rewind to the 70s. Now, and here's what I mean. We don't know what it's like to live in the 70s. I don't. I was born in the 70s, in the late 70s. I don't fucking have any memory of anything 70 anything. My very first memory is in 1980, which is crazy, right? I know, and I have the memories. We won't get into them, but it involves Lake Placid and the Olympics and everything else. And no, I wasn't at the great hockey game. I wish I was. I'm not going to pretend I was. But we were there at Lake Placid. I was 4. So anyway, in the 70s, we don't know what it's like. Again, this is what I mean. We're so quick to have this idea. Not everyone here. We're all really well-adjusted and brilliant and fucking smart, open-minded people. But I mean, generally speaking, I just talked to you about Mesopotamia. I talked to you about Iraq. I talked to you about Pazuzu. I talked to you about Abraham, etc. I just described to you in 5 sentences thousands of years, civilizations rising and falling, brilliant individuals coming and going. And to sit here and think I'm informed about any of that is completely fucking ridiculous, right? Which is why I love it when people are so sure about things. I'm not so sure about things because think about just that alone. Now, put that aside because maybe that's hard to wrap your head around that. You don't know what it's like to live in the 70s unless you were alive and cognizant and having memories in the 70s. I barely know what it's like to live in the 80s. I kind of remember. I know what it's like to live in the 90s. I remember where I was when the Waco siege happened. Some people can't say that. They're like, I don't fucking know. I wasn't alive. Right? I was. I fucking remember. Right? So I have a different perspective than you who's reading about it on fucking Wikipedia. My point is this. I don't know what it was like in the 70s. If only we had somebody we could talk to I'm surrounded by people that were alive in the 70s. I could have asked them. So what is this long-winded bullshit I'm doing? I'm getting to this point, and it's this. In the 70s, when this book is written, and when this idea that Pazuzu wants to create doubt in God, which to the modern 2023 listeners, and it's a small anecdotal sample size of Scott and Maja, would be pushed closer to God by his shenanigans. So Pazuzu doesn't want that. But maybe in the 70s, because most people, I'm pulling this out of my ass. I don't know if it's true, but let's just assume most people believe in God, even if they, quote, weren't religious, end quote. And let's just say this. Maybe because they feel that maybe the writer there was assuming that people would have doubt in God because they're assuming God's supposed to protect them from this evil, whether they're religious or not. That's the only thing I can come up with, which is not a succinct way to say it. I apologize.
No,
it was a really roundabout way, but I was trying to give you context, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's people's religions, their religious thoughts, coming to the front, thinking like no matter what comes at you and thinking like this in the 70s that like we're protected by God, even if we're kind of on the fence.
Yes.
It's okay.
Exactly. How many people would be like, I'm not religious, and then like, Take Reagan's. I'm sorry, I don't know their names. I'm sorry, I don't know mom's name. Is it Chris?
Chris. Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, Chris McNeil.
Chris's mom. Chris's mom has a lump on her breast. I guarantee you, Chris is going to think about God for just a minute when her mom's going in to get that thing looked at. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you should be driven to religion through. Again, I struggle with a lot of this stuff. because I love history and because I see what people in power do with religion, it makes me wonder what people in power have done with religion since the days of Abraham. What have they done? How have they changed the message? How have they altered it? I don't really know. But here's what I do know. This meat that we are, I think we're more than that. And I tend to, I'll be honest. When I think of God, I think of what Jesus looks like. I think of the cross. I think of that stuff. That's in my head. I'm not so willing to abandon it entirely, but it's really difficult for me to embrace something that men, and this isn't, I'm not trying to be woke, but men forever have done whatever they've wanted to that message. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm skeptical about that.
There's proof that they've changed things. There's proof there.
Clearly.
Look at
the
Old
King
Testament,
James version.
Look at Old Testament. Old Testament God, rained fire and brimstone on people. And then he became like, I flood the earth, I kill everyone, cool. And then it was like, I'll never do that again. Love me, believe in me, and everything's fine.
Then the Trinity and Jesus and stuff. But so it is, but I love this fucking topic. People get really antsy about this. I'd rather talk about this than politics.
Absolutely.
On way more ways, which is insane because it used to be no religion, no politics, right? And look, I was the cool kid. I misunderstood Nietzsche too when I was like, God's dead. But that's not what Nietzsche was saying that, but he was saying it like, you idiots, you've killed God with your fucking technocracy. So I don't know. And I'm probably misquoting that. I'm paraphrasing what I think is the general idea of a man who, in whatever, was like, yeah, you can't, what have we done? We've fucked up. We're so smart now, we fucking, So I don't know, man. I think that I think it's an interesting idea, and boy, has it been around a long time. For as long as humans have been around, we've had this propensity to look beyond. It's part of our programming. It's part of our fucking programming.
I was just thinking that how I think modern day it's kind of spread out. Back in these days, in the 70s, it would be God and religion that you turn to when you're going through a tough time. Mm-hmm. But these days, it's everything. It's your pick your self-help book or your crystals or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I mean, an experience like that would probably drive you to seek some kind of salvation, but Indeed. It might not be God if you're living in this day and age.
Yeah, and there's a real, and maybe they're connected, maybe they're not. I'm not sure. But there is a real, again, I'll quote him again, there's what John Vervaeke calls a real meaning crisis. People have no meaning in their lives. And I don't think he's super religious, by the way, Vervaeke. I think he's argues against it sometimes. But there is this thing where people lack meaning, and that's a real fucking problem. But how it relates to this movie is, I think, the idea at this time when The Exorcist comes out is that the world probably seems, ironically, the world seems smaller now than bigger to me. And I think, like when I was a kid, the world seemed much bigger. And I think Wikipedia, in social media, and knowing everything that's happening, having video footage of warfare in another country is just a crazy idea, right?
Well, it would also be telecommunications and the ability for us to instantly see things across the world. It does make the world smaller because remember, you when you were younger and the internet didn't exist, you were like, oh man, one day I hope I get to go to China. I get to see how it is there. And I wonder what it feels like to walk through the rice fields and see a different way of life. And now you can literally just go look and there's a live camera showing you China right now.
Yeah.
You can see
Take your streamer. You can walk around. Well, I'm sure some parts of China you can't walk around. I'm sure the CCP wouldn't be too happy with that. But.
Exactly. But it's something that with the technology and the globalization global society we have now, you have the ability to look at any little thing you want to see. Nothing seems so far out of bounds, out of grasp. But when I was a child, when I was 10, 15, I was like, oh man, I hope I get to go to Rome. I want to see the Colosseum, and I've only seen pictures of it in books, and I've seen it in shows, and now you can go to a live stream camera that's right in the middle of the Colosseum, and it'll show you. You can move it around, and it's made that smaller. It's made things not less impactful, but somewhat less impactful.
It's funny. I wonder if it takes away our desire to do these things, because even though our desire to experience certain things may be waning, I think when you go there and you do that thing, it's still the same exact excitement as it probably used to be. But
yeah, for Rome, it was exactly I was
right?
completely out of my mind for 11 days.
Yeah. So in the 70s, you have a child who is targeted, and you have this moral framework of like, well, we're not really religious, but they're not saying they're atheists. We don't really know. They're wealthy people. She's some sort of actress. She's working on a production. Chris, I'm talking about. And this movie is just so incredible to think about one of the reasons I love the idea of, I think if you just say religious horror as a genre, people go, oh yeah, possession movies, boring, right? But if you start to think about it, what it means, what's at stake, is just a horrifying reality. I know that there are guys out there who want to hack me up, or hack Maj up, or hack Scott up, or do untoward things to us and fuck up our bodies. And those people exist. They're real people, right? They're fucking monsters for whatever reason on Earth, and they're scary, and I get that. And but part of me goes, okay, right. But what about, and we don't know why they exist. We don't know why they do what they do, but there's probably a reason they do what they do. I think there's always a reason people do something, right? Right? There's always a reason people do a thing. You know, I don't know if it's a collective evil or if it's whatever it happens to be. But the idea of evil for evil's sake is just fascinating to me. And I think that's one of the reasons I like this genre and why I think this movie's fantastic. Besides that, the way it's shot. Go ahead, Maja. Sorry.
No, I was just thinking about the fact that a religious horror, because it targets more than your body and mind. It's also your soul, like your mortal soul, and your faith, your deepest beliefs, your morals, everything for somebody who is religious. It's a horrifying concept, because you can take a scary monster from a horror movie or something, a psychological horror like a ghost or something.
Right.
And that's still a different level of scary. It's slightly less, because for somebody who is religious, this could be like the ultimate fear of losing everything.
Absolutely. And if you want, and think about this, and I don't want to send anybody onto any existential crises, but all of that time period that I described, think about this for just a minute. All of that time period that I described, we were not alive. And someday we're not going to be alive, and there's going to be all that time period after. Like, think about that for just a minute. What does that mean for you? Is it just lights out, nothing? Maybe. And if it is, then who cares? But if there's something more, you better hope that you are not under the thrall of some sort of malevolence, right?
That's because a bad demon.
take being dead forever, which is a mind fuck, and don't think about it too much. Trust me, I did when I was 8. It was a mistake. and then apply that to eternity, and then ask yourself, are you right with shit? You might go, who cares? The lights are out. I don't care. I'm gone. It doesn't fucking matter. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. But for those people being victimized in this, and think about that. I am not religious, says Chris. Who does Chris turn to in the end?
Religion.
She has no choice. She's
everything else doesn't work.
Exhausted everything. And boy, and probably one of the most horrifying scenes in this movie is when they go to get her tested. But I don't want to jump too far ahead. But it when you're out of options, that's where you go, man. It's pretty intense. And listen, I think pushing back on religion was good for humanity a little bit. You know, I think it was good to push back on that power structure, to push back on that monopoly of power. I think that was very important, because men are so easily corrupted by power that it's important to push back on it.
I don't think it was a pushback on religion. It was a pushback on the church, and there's a huge difference on that.
Fair enough. Yep, I'm using the two interchangeably, and that's probably not super accurate. So yes, you're absolutely right.
Because, I mean, you think about at the time, look at what they did with the Vatican. Look at have you ever seen St. Peter's Basilica? That's what happens when you don't pay 2,000 years worth of taxes. Okay.
Yep.
It is a breathtakingly beautiful building. But from the Middle Ages to the 1800s, there was a great many poor people in Rome that they just didn't help.
Right.
So it's those parts of the church are bad. And to have the people's corporeal lives being crushed by the church, whatever church you have you,
or not
having
helped, right? That was a thing. We were just watching the Borgias, and that was the thing that Rodrigo, was it Rodrigo? Was that his name?
Yeah, Rodrigo Borgia.
Yeah, he was like, if I don't help these people, they're going to assume God doesn't have my favor. I need, right? Like that's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, well, if I don't help them and hoard all the riches, then the poor people are going to toil. And maybe you can convince them like that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be that way. But good luck with that shit when they see you walking around in your slippers, you know? They're going to want to fuck, they're going to want slippers, you know?
Your gold vestments and purple fucking shoes.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, and I think like any kind of wake up to because religion became a controlling mechanism during that.
Indeed.
It's always been somewhat of a controlling mechanism with the thought of an afterlife or whatever have you along the way. But the brass tacks of it is it's a controlling mechanism. The church uses it, or churches use it as that.
I'll tell you what, and this is a truth, and it's a sad truth, but I'm going to tell you something right now. All hierarchical structures tend towards tyranny. You bet that's absolutely correct. And you
No
better
shit.
listen, watch out. You're not going to have a choice. So,
It's true. It's true. It really is. But you have these situations where people are, things are broken up, the schism. You have the reformation of the Catholic Church, the Protestants, and everything of that. You'll see that in the Borgias. There's a lot of that. But those are really checks on that kind of control structure. But underneath, we still retained our religion. Mm-hmm. The real part where religion kind of or religion or power in the church in Eastern Europe or Europe in general was when the plague happened, and the rule was that you could not, your last rites had to be done by a priest,
right,
when you were dying. But the priests were dying from the plague and didn't want to go out and deal with the dying homeless and poor people. So like you can tell your friends and you can do all this. And people lost faith.
Some didn't, right?
Yeah,
that's
some
what we
did.
have to remember. There's
was
always
some,
exceptions.
Exactly. And some people, a lot of people, especially in Europe, lost a lot of faith in the church because the church abandoned them during their time of need.
Well, and they probably assumed that they had gained the ire of God.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing was
to happen, right?
The church must be doing something wrong because they're dying too.
Wasn't one of the schisms between Orthodoxy and Catholicism just like when Easter was? Like that's one of the things they argued about.
That was one of the things.
Greek,
yeah, and like
I can't.
There was
the
whole
since
thing
he's
between
yelling in his car somewhere right now, yelling for a microphone.
They fought between like the Eucharist, like was the bread and the wine actually the blood and the flesh of Christ? Like,
I said fucking Parmesan rosemary, bitch.
Yeah,
not this Italian shit.
Where's my cracker? Can I have a little salt on this if it's going to be Jesus's flesh? Like,
damn.
I don't know, but yeah, religion's always been the undertone.
Yeah.
To everything, and I think it's still today.
So all of this shit that we've been talking about for 45 God knows how long, how it relates to The Exorcist is this simple. It's just some sort of evil, a malevolent evil force. If we believe in good, then strangely enough, we have to also accept the fact that evil is a possibility, right? And if you take this kind of evil, and that's what I mean. Evil just because. What's the motivation? It's not acting out some fantasy because you were abused, because your uncle put cigarettes out on your neck when you were a kid, or you're not somebody who got the shit kicked out of them or sexually molested and turned into some kind of monster. You're just a fucking evil force. Just because. Yeah. Because you have a war against God on some level. So if we're to believe, maybe, if going back to Maja saying, if Pazuzu moved on the wind, came into this home and just landed here. Now, what's the significance? Why here? Georgetown University. It's the oldest fucking, religious university in America. It's in Washington, D.C., right? It was, let me see, I wrote a couple notes about this. Maybe I didn't.
Well, thinking about the motives there, for somebody who isn't religious, like we were saying that it would make us believe in God more if we witnessed this. But for somebody who is religious, is it going to make your faith falter?
That's a good question. Sadly, we don't have somebody on to ask. And I think you'll get a range of answers because I think a stalwart paladin type will say, of course not. But there may be somebody who says yes. But
Father Karras, for example.
Father Karras, he's already got a faith issue going in.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Father Karras has a faith issue going in. And that's one of the things I love about him being part of this whole thing. He's at Georgetown University. He struggles with his mom. He wonders. His character is very fascinating.
And how would this experience have impacted him if he's arrived?
Indeed. Which begs the question. I don't want to get away from that question. But let's talk about the girl for just a second. Do you guys mind if I switch gears?
Not at all.
The girl, the victim. This movie is so well shot. It's so well acted to me. And it's just a real joy to watch unfold. It might be an overstatement to say it's mesmerizing, but there's this moment at the 23-minute mark where Chris is putting Regan to bed, and the camera just sits on the little girl's face, just to show you a little girl who loves her mom, who feels safe, who's in this position, who's gonna get all fucked up. And there's a lot of this type of shit. It really is a crazy long shot of them talking and you just seeing these expressions play out upon this kid's face. And that really stuck with me. There's a lot of these close-ups of her that made me go, man, this is sad. Like, this movie's pretty grim. It's pretty sad. And it's not like, we're going to be talking about a lot of horror movies in October. We're going to be talking about Halloween. We're going to be talking about Nightmare. And this movie is set apart from those movies, and here's why. Because you feel bad. You feel like, man, this is rough. It's not like, cool. You're like, this is fucking sad to me, well,
That's the thing about that thought process is that as adults, and this happens all across the world, any faith, any religion, any culture, we all do our best to protect children.
Indeed.
And to see a child within the throes of a demon and the helplessness of her mother not being able to protect her daughter, we all can sympathize and put ourselves in that situation and go, shit, that kid in our lives, what would we do? That would be awful to watch something like that happen in front of us and not have anything to do to save them. I think that's one of the reasons why this one hits harder than Nightmare on Elm Street and harder than Halloween. They're teenagers. They're on their own. They can defend themselves. A young 10 or 11-year-old girl has no way to defend herself, especially against a demon.
Mm-hmm. That's chosen her. And I think one of the most crazy aspects of this movie is just that idea, right? Random. Her. Why? Well, seem pliable. Georgetown University, as I was getting at, established in 1789. Very old.
Shit.
Its roots go way before that, back to Europe. But yeah, I mean, what a spot for Pazuzu to run rampant. And that's something I love about this movie, is that random, like, holy shit. But so much of this movie, man, I love all this stuff with the building up of these people. 25 minutes in, I don't think she has her little rug pee incident for a while. There's some issues with the dad, and there's some noises upstairs. We never really know what those noises are. Coincidental, we don't know. We know it's not rats. Some of these shots, man. of this.
Yeah,
Just
there's a
a
lot
priest
of
carrying these fucking
Yeah.
things in the red brick against him. It looks fantastic.
This movie reminds me of Suspiria in some shots.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
a very vivid color background, and
Yep.
there's a lot of like backlit shots later on when Reagan is possessed.
Yep.
I mean, just like even just watching him come in, the contrast of all the white marble
It's
inside the church and him
fantastic.
holding the flowers, it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely.
You know, until you actually go into the church and see what the statue's changed into, but that's not beautiful.
Right. Now, in the book, apparently it was Reagan that did this.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
There's clay present that is then found in the house by the detective. Right? Because it's like, looks like clay. I mean,
yeah,
there's a
she's,
shitload of
she's like sculpting, crafting.
and she's
something.
sculpting
Yeah.
and crafting. I think that's one of the things I like about this is just that idea. It's subtle. We don't really see an effect on Reagan until a half hour in or longer. All of that time we're just seeing this girl live with her mother and be a happy kid.
There's a couple of weird things. There's the Ouija board, and then there's the shot where
Grimportance.
where mom goes to investigate the noises in the in basement attic, and we get a shot of her of the kid just lying in bed and staring,
Yes.
just blank expression. There's something so ominous about that.
Indeed.
Well, like this normally if a movie took this long to get into the action, I would be very bored. However, this half hour, like you said, is really just showing character development the entire time, and it's done in such a way that actually, to me, it went very quickly. You're learning a lot about Father Karras. You're learning about Reagan and her mother Chris, and you're learning about the church and all the stuff about, you know, the Exorcists and things like that. It's all slowly prying open, but it does it in such a way that to me it was timeless. It didn't seem like it took forever to get to.
Indeed. I'm glad you said that because it is there. The opening 8 or 9 minutes of this movie is almost kind of weird. I mean, it's a completely separate thing. All it does is show this statue and this excavation effort taking place in Iraq, and Merrin is there who will come into this story. But and then maybe the wind and blowing through, maybe that transition has some sort of material to it, to the plot. And then we get into this slow moving. But I'll tell you what, slow moving, it is a bit slow moving, but because it's shot so well and that these characters feel so real to me is what I liked most about that. I liked building this up and seeing this family. It sucks, you know, little kids being the victims of whatever in a movie. How many movies have we seen where like, oh, is the kid evil? Has the kid been possessed? But they all seem to kind of lack what this one does. And that's just something personal about the way they shoot her.
Yeah, we really get to know her and like her, and
Right.
just this sweet little girl. And that's been done, but not like this.
Isn't that funny? What do you think separates this from other movies?
I don't know. It just feels so real. The way they talk, the dialogue is so good. It feels so real. It's like we're just watching these people's lives and like, oh, the dad is not in the picture and just everything, all the smallest details. And watching this time, I was like, 20 minutes in, I'm like, I like these people. I don't want this to turn bad.
Right.
I just want to see the movie about this family.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the success of this movie is you go, I like these people. And you are absolutely right, Manja. The dialogue is phenomenal. It's very, very good. And it feels real. I mean, I think this movie's fucking incredible. Were you about to jump in, Scott?
I was gonna say, like, when we're at like things are like you said, the shots are close up. You're in their family. You're in this circle. You're in this movie star's little you know, gravity well. You're seeing her little life, and you're seeing that there's slightly some things going wrong, but they're still trying to maintain normality in their lives. They're going. I mean, if the scenes we're seeing now, they're hosting a party at the house, and it's all very avant-garde. Everyone's very.
Who's the hot goth lady?
Yeah,
gonna
who
say,
is that?
Jesus, get her my number. Jesus.
Gonna look at the cast here.
And then, it's a weird amalgamation of people because she's a movie star. You got like priests hanging out. You got like weirdo
She lives
movie
right
producers.
on campus, we believe it. She must be living right there because it seems as if Karras just runs down the street later in the movie to go to her
Yeah,
house.
he's close.
Yeah, so it must be kind of a thing where they're all living right there near Georgetown University.
Yeah, so they can film their movie there.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
But I like the story is small. I like that you learn so much about these characters so quickly, and it is the way it's shot with like the lighting is just amazing. In my notes I kept writing down like the lighting in this scene is fantastic. Like whoever is their director of photography is amazing.
Yeah. Can you check who the DP is on that?
That's Owen Roisman.
And what has he done? What's the
Let's
IMDb say
see.
about him? Because I love the way this movie's shot and the way it looks.
He's done The French Connection, which I believe is another
Fantastic.
of the same director.
Yep.
Tootsie.
I didn't see Tootsie.
Network.
Network's in what year? 70.
76.
Amazing. One of the greatest speeches of all time is in Network.
Oh, he's done the 91 Addams Family.
Nice.
All right, cool.
Yeah. One of the greatest, the Network speech is so good, where he's like yelling about TVs. It controls you. They control you. It's really, really good.
I also found the hot girl. That's Donna Mitchell.
Got it. Don't know who that is.
Yep, me neither.
But yeah, I like by setting this movie up to say, look at these people, look at their lives, and then to just have her walk out and piss on the rug.
Well, hold on.
It's so shocking. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
It caught me way off guard, but what caught me more off guard than her just pissing her pants on the floor is that this is what old people did for fun.
Yeah.
Like just gathered around a piano and all sing out of key, like la, la, la. Things have changed a lot since the 70s with what people do. But imagine putting yourself in Chris's spot right now. She's a movie star. She has all these very high posh people at her house, and all of a sudden her daughter comes downstairs and looks right at the NASA guy, the astronaut, and goes, "You're gonna die up there," and then just pisses herself in front of everyone. How do you come back from that?
No shit.
How do you?
Was he in the Challenger? Maybe did she predict his death?
I think her concern for her daughter is still like surpasses the shame.
I think shame is less a factor, and concern for her kid is way more a factor.
Yeah.
She always is concerned for her daughter. She always feels like a good mother.
Yeah.
Right.
And through the movie, she tries literally everything. She puts her daughter through hell. Those tests, like that spinal tap, and I've never seen like a spinal tap up close like that. And I'm sure it's not exactly accurate, but it was disturbing.
We had some comments this week as we post on them now. And just a quick piece of housekeeping. I'm going to be making threads in Discord specific to the movies we're covering. And what I'll probably do is leave them there for a month and then make a little archive category and just slide them all down there. So they're always like available if you ever want to go back and chat about those movies.
That's
and we'll
really
be
cool.
posting on Facebook. We're not really resurrecting the listener comments section just yet, but if there's any comments that come across our mind that we want to bring up, we'll bring up in the midst of our conversation. So keep talking about the movies. It's really cool, and maybe we'll read a comment on the air or reference it based on what we're talking about in the movie. So again, Facebook and Discord, the links are right in the show notes. Dude, this stuff is wild.
And like, again, put yourself where Chris is, watching her kid have to go through these incredibly painful and uncomfortable tests. She's trying everything. She's
Can't
literally
be in the
trying
room with
everything.
her kid. Can't be in the room with her own kid. That's rough.
Nope. Just have to sit there and watch her kids scream as they're putting her through these machines. Like it looks like primitive CAT scans, I think they are, with the noises they make.
Oh
the
my
noise
God.
alone would fucking terrify you.
Yeah,
Sound like two
MRIs.
trains smashing together.
It is. It is a horrifying noise. Do you guys want to hear it?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some of this horror? One of the scariest parts of this movie is this. Fuck your soul. This shit scares me. And she just has to lie still.
Hook up.
These moments are fantastic.
Sounds like Sarah Connor trying to smash the Terminator.
These stark white screens where they slide these shots into place are fantastic. This movie's so expertly shot. And nothing, right?
They find nothing. Not a single thing wrong with her.
Yeah. And there's just so many great moments in this. Later, when she, when the stakes are really raised in that 48-minute mark, when they run upstairs, right? It's the assistant there, Sharon, and Reagan. Again, I'm going to say it different every time I say it. Is just bouncing around on the fucking bed, and it doesn't stop there.
Now, the part where she's whiplashing up and down, do you guys know about that at all?
Is that the dummy?
No, she's actually in that. It's like a levered like table, and it gave her. She suffered a spinal injury that she deals with to this day.
Wow.
It fractured her spine and developed into scoliosis, leaving her in chronic pain for years.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Yeah. Because I mean, if you look at the one where her head's whipping like, up and down like she's going from 90 degrees.
Painful.
She gets hurt during that whole thing.
Obviously.
And it stayed with her for most of her life.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And I know we just listened to some stuff, but I want to listen to this too, because the stakes are starting to go up rather quickly.
Keep away! The sow is mine! Fuck me! Fuck me!
Great.
Fuck me! Stay away from me! Hold her steady. Hold her tight.
Aren't horror movies fun?
Can be.
This one's still weird because it's like and they also make you feel really uncomfortable because it's like the demon is sexualizing like a 10-year-old girl.
I think right. She's 12, and
12.
You're absolutely right. And that's the most uncomfortable part, is that and by the way, I think we can take a measure of peace that it's not the young girl actress is not doing any of these lines, and that's not her body. Right?
It's not Linda Blair. It's I have her name somewhere here.
Right. It's somebody who stands in those really
Eileen Dietz.
How much older is she?
She was like 29 at the time.
Right. So thank God.
Yeah.
They brought somebody
Jesus
to not say
Christ.
crazy fucking shit. But you're absolutely right. I think one of the first things that the demon does with her is to speak such heinous shit. Yelling at the adults to fuck her.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. Dude, it's the 70s. What are people doing in the theater? Maja, do you have some notes on this?
I was looking at those clips, like interviews. There's you can look on YouTube. There's a whole lot of them, like interviews of people, actual footage of people fainting. People were like really having strong effects on this, strong reactions, fainting and throwing up and just shaking, walking out of the theater. But it became a massive phenomena because of this. Everyone was like, it was the big dare. Like, do you dare to go and see The Exorcist?
Right.
And they were waiting in lines for hours and hours and just massive. It was hugely successful.
If anybody's listening to this show right now and you are a little bit older and you were alive when this happened, and maybe you weren't old enough to go, but you remember it, I want you to write into the show. I'm really curious about it. Dean@libertystreetgeek.net. That's Dean@libertystreetgeek.net. I want to know about like firsthand accounts of this.
Actually, I watched a couple of interviews, and Ellen Burstyn, who plays Chris, she had a funny story of going to a screening of the movie, just randomly, like not a premiere, but anything, but just going to see it. And people were having these reactions seeing it the first time. And some woman got up and walked down the aisle and just fainted. And she ran up to help her and was like trying to get her to wake up. But in the moment she had the realization like, oh God, if she wakes up and sees my face, she's going to think that she's died and gone to hell. So she like waved somebody else from the audience to come in and help and left herself. It was just so funny.
But
am I possessed?
I mean, here we are. How many years later? 50? Over 71?
Yeah, holy shit,
50,
dude.
50 years.
50 years. 50 years later,
Dude.
we still feel pretty fucking similar, don't we? We're not passing out because we've been desensitized, but children shouldn't say such things. And when they do, it's fucked up. And you're like, what is wrong with this kid? What happened? Who's telling this kid to say this? Why is this kid behaving this way? And that's when you get back to that possession piece. That's creepy. There is something very disturbing about being unable to control yourself, and in two fashions. Number one, being aware that you can't control yourself. That's really horrifying. Being unaware, I would say, is less horrifying, right? The werewolf, the lycanthrope, who is a man who transforms and goes on a killing spree and wakes up in a zoo and doesn't remember what he did, is almost lucky compared to the person who is possessed and retains consciousness during that time. Now, in this, we're fortunate to know at the end, she remembered nothing, or the words spoken before they leave the house in the end of the movie. Thank God, right? Thank God that that Regan didn't have any memory of this, because that would be fucked. It's just been wiped.
I wondered about that, and how did they explain to her certain injuries that she sustained with the cross? Like,
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That's fucking nuts. fucking slamming that flag in the thing like the fucking flag at Iwo Jima. Jesus Christ, man.
I got a question, Mom.
So, honey, now it's time for the birds and the bees talk, but you've had some prior experiences, so it's a little different for you, dear darling.
When I said I wanted you to be closer to Jesus, that's not what I meant.
Fuck. No wonder Jesus is about washing his feet. Damn, dude. Fuck. That's wild. So anyway, yeah, it's that losing control. Some people live to lose control. They want to lose control. They want to push the edge. You know, thrill seekers, people who jump out of airplanes and shit. They're trying to. It's the thrill of almost a lack of control. As somebody who enjoys control, it's rare that I don't like to be manifesting over my own shit. You know, that's one of the reasons I might like to have a drink once in a while. I like that relaxing and just letting go kind of thing. And oddly enough, I think that possession, that losing control of who you are, there's something really scary about that. And I think that's a different type of fear in this movie.
Well, that's a fear that I have, like when I worked at a nursing home and watching people with dementia lose who they are. They don't know their family members. They don't know who they are. They've lost all the memories they've had, that they've all the knowledge and experiences they've amassed. I kind of tandem that to what's going on with the possession. You kind of lose yourself and lose. It's scary to give up that control and to not have it.
It's interesting because I have a different take on that, and possessions are like pretty rough for me to watch. It's one of the few things that gets to me in horror movies, and for me, it's like it's like a depiction of the kind of trauma where you've been like your autonomous control is completely taken away from you, and that's just like the loss of self and control, and it's. And because you're the innocent, but it's still like turning you into this vile, awful, evil thing. Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that at all? As comfortable as you are.
Yeah. No. I mean, well, it's obvious from what I've talked about already that I have some traumatic things in my past, and that's why this stuff gets to me. Like the fear of losing yourself, like this bad thing happens to you and somehow you feel like it lives inside you and takes
It's
control
still
of you.
there.
Yeah, like it just never fully goes away. And like I've had an intense fear of losing my mind and losing control, and it's disturbing to watch because it's like it portrays the internal horror of that situation.
Great way to say it. It portrays the internal horror of that situation, right? What about you, Scott? Possession, losing control of yourself. I mean, I know you're talking dementia, but just that idea, as far as fearful.
Just losing self is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
In any capacity. Like the stuff that Reagan does to these people in her room, they're, and she has no recollection of it. It's not her in there. Like that's the same thing as losing your mind with dementia. It's terrifying. It's there's a couple things that scare me, and there's possession, there's aliens, and then there's ghosts, because they all could be
like
possible.
extraterrestrials frighten you?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think all those things could impact you and could be real, and they freak me out. And possession. I mean, what I don't know. With I spent like 2 hours looking up at the list of Vatican exorcisms, things that they sponsored, and I don't know what caused these people to act the way they did. There's no common denominator between any of them, except for the fact that they needed to get an exorcism. So it makes me wonder if that's real, or were they drinking out of lead cups? Like, did that make them fucking go nuts? You never know. But the fact is, it could be real. It could be something that causes it, and it's terrifying to lose yourself and feel like you've lost control of who you are because of some otherworldly thing, whether it be an alien like fire in the sky or an exorcist, a demon from somewhere else. So both those things are terrifying.
Yeah, for sure, man. The idea of losing control of who you are, I think, is a pretty horrifying concept. To know that you could have done something horrible and not realize it, and then only in that or something horrible could have happened to you. But the way you described it, Maj, I think is probably the most terrifying. Is that a thing happens to you and it forces you to lose your autonomy, and then somehow it lives in you, almost in perpetuity, right? It's almost like a possession that you have to learn to live with.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I think that's a horrifying idea. And that
Scary.
could be just summarized as trauma.
Yeah, and it's not just a feeling of like something bad, because when you have complex PTSD, you have symptoms that could be pretty much from a horror movie describing the starting phases of a possession. You're losing bits of time, and I mean, I'm doing a lot better than I used to.
Yeah, of course,
But,
clearly.
Yeah, clearly. But like feeling like you're just not quite there, like you're living in a fog and everything is just kind of surreal, and you have like an autopilot controlling you, like somebody else is in control.
Indeed.
Or having just sudden intense feelings that feel like they're not you, like as if something has invaded you and brings up these things, which is obviously just, in psychological terms, all those unprocessed feelings and things that you've suppressed for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The way you described to me dissociation, because I think people throw that term around pretty loosely, just like they throw around PTSD, just like they throw around trauma. It's very easy to throw those terms around, right? But the way you describe dissociation is really freaky to me.
It's
like
horrifying.
And just the other day, I had a gummy. And I suddenly became fascinated with the fucking peanut butter sandwich in my hand to where I felt like I was looking at it through a tunnel. That's the closest I get to dissociative feelings.
Well, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, a substance can induce dissociation, but if you're not under anything, like when I was a teenager or a kid, well, a kid to teenager, and I didn't have any idea. Yeah, I didn't have any idea what was wrong with me. Why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel just completely out of it? And like it's weird because with dissociation you don't get hallucinations. Well, you can, but I never have. It just everything gets warped. Like you described.
Jesus Christ, who did I fucking marry? Fucking seeing shit.
Well, like you said, like seeing or hearing something from a tunnel. It's
Right.
so freaky.
Yeah.
And of course, because then the fear is making it worse. You freak out over
Anxiety
having the
compounds
symptom.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you
it
get
just
anxious. You
snowballs.
start panicking. You get a panic attack, and then it just everything spirals out of control.
Yep. Yeah, it's a crazy thing, and that's what there are these moments where you really feel like the only. I'll be honest with you, I think if I could give the movie one mistake, and it's only one, I think it's that line at the end where she doesn't remember anything. Just leave that alone. Let us wonder. Oh my God, this poor thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because by saying that, you're almost saying like, okay, she's got some cuts. I mean, some worse than others, as Maja indicated. But she's not gonna have any memory of this. Great. And that's not to say terrible things still don't happen and that it somehow lessens it, but it does a little if she doesn't remember. Doesn't it kind of lessen the blow?
Yeah, it does. But maybe it was like a little bit of a relief to the audience at the end.
You know what? That's a great point. Maybe the audience needed that relief at the end.
Yeah.
1970 fucking 3 or whatever. 72, 73. I can't keep. What'd you say?
73.
3.
Yep.
So 50 years. Awesome.
Dude, that's some dread right there. I'll tell you that. That's some dread. 50 years. You're talking about 5,000 years in Sumeria, and I'm like, 50 years was the 70s?
Yeah. 50 years is the same.
Fuck. We're getting old.
You ain't kidding.
Shit.
Still fucking got 71 flights in today, though, bitch.
Hell yeah. I'm going to have to beat that next time. You'll see.
One of us will have a coronary. Great.
Stroke
The
out on the
stupid
fucking-
hosts from LDI are stroked out doing step mills because they're idiots with
'Cause we're
tiny
assholes.
dicks.
Oh, yeah, you did 61. Well, I'll do 62 tomorrow, bro. We're both dead.
Fucking dummy. It's my master plan to just murder Scott.
I have a massive coronary attack.
187 flights? Jesus Christ. You climbed to Jupiter. So, no, 50 years. Again, that's what I mean. Just this context. And again, zoom the camera out again. Obviously, that this story works best. And that's one thing I want to make sure I want people to understand that I'm not trying to do. When I talk about the history of us as the histories of civilizations and religion in the context of this, it's not to make it seem like, oh, it's just one girl in this thing. It's to bring the weight of all that here to this one girl. And I think that's what we have to remember. And when those odds are stacked up against you and you've gone everywhere you can go and you've done all of this stuff and you have no more places to turn to, really, you've exhausted these great minds, these medical, all of your technology, right? What's that great Bram Stoker's line where he's like, all of your impotent whatever cannot keep you from me or whatever. Like he's essentially just saying like, you think you can stop me with these devices, these tools, stop it. All right? And that's just a vampire. That's not even like Lucifer, you know?
Right.
Fucking A, man. And so you've exhausted all of these tools. And now who can help this girl out of this? God. That's it.
Well, you fall back on what's older than science.
Indeed.
That's religion.
Science has given you no answers.
No, and that's the thing is she finally comes to a head and was like, you guys have fucking no idea. Like she screams at them because they're like, well, we'll just take, basically they're like, let's just take a piece of her brain and see what happens. Like, it's just, they have no idea. And their own hubris won't let them just realize, like say, I don't know.
Right.
We can't find anything. Let's keep just exploring this woman's brain. Let's just keep digging in this girl's body. And her mother finally was like, no.
Not enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And ironically, that's who suggests the goddamn course of action. Let's have a listen to that scene, actually.
Hell yeah.
Where there's fucking 12 doctors. They're like, here's what we think you should do. Here's our medical advice to you today.
Of course, there is one outside chance for a cure. But I think of it as a shock treatment. As I said, it's a very outside chance. but
Would you
since
just
you're
name
so-
it, for God's sakes? What is it?
Do you have any religious beliefs?
No.
What about your daughter?
No. Why?
Have you ever heard of exorcism? Well, it's a stylized ritual in which the rabbi or the priest try to drive out this so-called invading spirit. It's been pretty much discarded these days, except by the Catholics who keep it in the closet as a sort of an embarrassment. But it has worked, in fact, although not for the reasons they think. Of course, it's
Speaking of hubris, it has worked, not for the reasons they think. He continues.
It's purely a force of suggestion. The victim's belief in possession is what helped cause it. So in that same way, the belief in the power of exorcism can make it disappear.
That's your scientists? Yeah. That's your what you just said. She believed it so much that she manifested cuts on her bodies, floated, stabbed herself in the fucking pussy with a giant cross, and flung her body around and can speak other languages because she just willed it into existence. That's what you're suggesting. They'd sooner say that than just say, well, maybe. Maybe.
Those doctors need to be fired.
He continues.
You're telling me that I should take my daughter to a witch doctor. Is that it?
Great edit. So yeah, she's mom is desperate for answers, and it takes some time. Again, now you have the secular investigation as well, and that's important, right? You have Kinderman, I think is his name, looking around and trying to figure some things out. And he had a theory that took me a minute to kind of understand, because it's at this point in the movie where the director has died, seemingly in an accident. But Maja, can you break down the scene for me where Kinderman goes to talk to Chris and what he's saying?
Right. Well, before that, what happened was that she was out, the mom was out, and Sharon, the assistant or whatever she is, was looking after Reagan.
Yep.
But Burke, I think is the director's name, came over and Sharon needed to go and get some medicine, and she left Burke to watch over Reagan. Well, mom comes home.
Upstairs sleeping, by the way.
Yeah, upstairs sleeping, and we don't know what happened. We find out afterwards. Mom comes home and is like, "Wait, where are you? Sharon is gone. The kid is alone in her room, and the window is open again, blown open. What's happened?" Sharon comes home and explains what happened, and well, we find out soon after that Burke has died. Stumbled, apparently, they assume that he was drunk and stumbled down the steps and died.
The famous steps.
Yeah. And now this cop comes in and starts asking a lot of questions.
And he says, and by the way, his head was on backwards.
Yeah, it was backwards.
Does he tell Chris that fact?
No.
No,
He
no,
keeps
not.
But he tells
Karis, yes.
Yeah.
On the track.
He's like, this is privileged information.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think anybody at this point, they do know that there's a connection, that he was at this house, but they probably assume that he just stumbled down the steps and sustained these horrible injuries. But this officer, what was his name?
Kinderman.
Kinderman. He comes up the stairs, looks at the window, and is like, maybe he fell all the way from there. That might explain a little more.
Indeed.
So his theory is that Burke was thrown out the window, and somebody might have killed him and then thrown him out the window. But
Right.
who?
So he puts this idea in her head, which is pretty wild for police work. He puts this idea in her head that maybe he fell out of the window in your daughter's room. So the first horrifying idea is, why is a guy that I kind of know, but not know particularly well, who's piss drunk, why is he in my sleeping 12-year-old's bedroom?
Well, I mean, it did kind of remind me of Roman Polanski, so that might be the explanation.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Just let him make Chinatown before you throw him in jail. Fuck, dude. Damn,
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But that right there is like whoa, wait, what?
Well, it might have just been that Reagan was making noises, so he went up to check what was going on.
Yeah, could have baited him into it and flung him out the window.
Yep.
And Kinderman doesn't think for a second that it's Reagan because he's like, she's a younger girl. How'd she push this full-blown man out the window? Did anyone come in? Like, did you have any packages show up? Did you have anything? Is there any reason for anyone else to be in the house while you were gone? And she's like, no, it was no one. And he's doing the cop thing. He's grilling her, but being nice. He's like, he keeps pushing a little harder each time. And you can see it's making her uncomfortable because she's like, are you making a statement that you think my daughter killed him?
Right.
And it's uncomfortable to be that situation.
And she's fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, she's great in this movie. And this cop is, this actor is fucking, his name is Lee Cobb. Lee Cobb's fantastic. I'm pretty sure is he the guy in 12 Angry Men?
He's done a ton of stuff. Man of the West, 12 Angry Men, Lawman, One Man
12
Flint.
Angry Men. He's fantastic. But he's not the guy in the Twilight Zone episode because I always think they look alike. The guy who plays the ex-Nazi who goes back.
Yeah, he does look just like him. He
reminds me of that guy, right? But no, it's quite a revelation because now there's this other part of this. And this is really clever storytelling. Here's why. Because we can't just run this whole movie on each sequence is Reagan getting pushed further along the path of possession and the stakes ramping up. I love the idea that this backdrop, I love the idea of taking an accident that happens to this guy and then potentially returning it back to this house and back to what could be going on, and nobody really knows, and nobody ever knows. That's such good filmmaking because the propensity would be to let you know at the end what happened to the guy.
Or to show it,
Or just to show it.
Yeah.
Don't show any of it.
Nothing. We don't even, not a hint as to whether he tumbled down the stairs and his head fell off backwards. Probably not the case. Probably got fucked up by the devil. Let's be real.
It's also amazing because it puts the thought in your head of imagining what it's like for somebody to stumble down those steps, but we don't see it until later.
Absolutely.
Or somebody gets flung out of a window down the steps. But no, it's not long after this where Karras becomes involved, much more directly, and that happens, Jesus Christ, that happens because of the horrific scene that Chris is about to walk into. Should we listen to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
We're going to hell already.
Fuck you! Jesus, fuck you! Liam, fuck you! Lick me! Lick me!
I don't think Chris thought she's going to earn her Red Wings that way. Speaking of going to hell.
Oh, man. But when I first saw this whole scene, I was taken aback. I was
It's a lot still.
out. I was freaked
It's
out.
a lot, man.
So where did the crucifix come from?
Right. I think probably the Swiss fellow put it up there. Yeah, I think he did and just denied it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. That's good animatronics. That's good.
Where do you think
head
the
turning
cross
around
came from, Scott? Do you think it...
I don't know. I mean, obviously someone put it. Maybe the Roman Polanski put it up there. Who knows?
Yeah.
He's into some weird shit.
He doesn't seem like a crucifix-wielding guy. He seems like
True.
He seems like a devil-worshipping Hollywood liberal.
Leather bound, leather thong wearing, corset wearing weirdo.
Ruining the country with his homosexual antics. Kidding, of course. I mean, that's what he would say about that guy. But anyway, he being whoever, pick your guy. Just stop it. So anyway, yeah, it's at this point where you go, okay. So I like the head turning around as an effect. I think it's cool and I think it's creepy. But I don't love it because it's now this is going to sound really fucking stupid, but please bear with me. One of the things I don't like about it is this. Everything we've seen, now.
I think I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I do as well.
It seems like that would kill your host body.
Yes.
Yeah. The uncanny valley.
I don't love it. Now, people are saying, but Dean, how can you believe in the possession as a paradigm set forth by this movie, but you can't believe this? Well, because the paradigm in this movie that's set forth is that possession is real, but what the paradigm isn't, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can turn your head around backwards and not be dead.
Yeah.
Now,
I get what you're going. Everything that happens to Reagan besides that, it is something that could kind of happen, except for her like levitating off the bed. Everything else is something that would still be corporeal, something that would still be in her body. If you twisted her head around, she wouldn't survive, right? And that's what you're saying?
I am. And I'm also saying I don't even mind the levitation if we're going to go ahead and believe that something supernatural is inhabiting her. And I guess I could apply the same bad logic and say, well, perhaps this creature is able to keep her fucking spinal cord from being twisted and broken by her head spinning around. I guess you could just apply the same logic. So maybe I'm just being a little bit nitpicky. But because, right, if we're saying that this thing exists and can do all these things, or maybe it can not kill her by twisting her head around backwards. Maybe Pazuzu is really good at maintaining spinal integrity when it spins your head around backwards. I don't know.
Let's your stretch.
It's just a little goofy. But yeah, this is where a very desperate Chris solicits Karras to start investigating this. And one of the things I love about this third act here and getting into it is I just love this idea of it not being, oh, we're going to rush to do this thing, right? We're going to rush to do this thing. Yep, we're going to do it. He's like, no, there's so much investigation that has to go. And I like that idea. I like that the Catholic Church, and I think an exorcism, I used to think it had to be authorized by the Vatican, but I think it just has to be authorized by a bishop.
Yeah.
Within a city
you belong to. Yeah.
Correct. Whoever runs what would he even be called? Whoever is the spiritual leader of the territory, so to speak. The bishop.
Yeah, it'd be like your cardinal or your archdiocese.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe cardinal's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they would be like, hey, listen, are we certain there's no tumors, drug use, hallucinations, medical problems, and all of that shit, right? Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like a mobster setup. Like you got to go to the higher up to get to whack a guy. You got to be like, you got to call the cardinal and be like, yo, I need to get this exorcist. It's like, all right, do it.
He's sitting there, he's like, listen to me, have you exhausted all possibilities? Before we bring out the big guns and we fucking whack this goddamn demon, we got to be certain. We got to be certain that we whack this demon with all of the power of the Lord on our side. Just cold handshakes and money dead drops, right?
Jesus Christ, Christopher.
The mafia. Jesus Christ, and I'm sorry to take the Lord's name in vain, but Jesus Christ, we got to fucking make sure. T, I told you, her head fucking spun around backwards. Yeah, but Christopher, anybody gets I spit a guy's head around 3 days ago. T, I'm telling you, he's possessed. All right, fucking kill him.
It's a demon.
All right, make it happen. But don't fucking call me on this phone anymore. I told you, Christopher. Meet me at the Bing in 10 minutes. That's a different movie.
Cardinal's getting a lap dance.
Hell yeah.
Father, I didn't know you were like that. Hey, whatever.
Did you say your name was Heather? Do you know about the Lord? The fucking Just that, when you're in a club, but you're not quite in the main area, and you hear the thump through the wall.
Yeah, it's
a
distorted
muffled
through the wall.
noise. Yeah. Fucking champagne on ice. Oh, Father, what the fuck? We gotta go fuck a whack a ghost. It's in a fucking kid. It's a goddamn shame.
Pull your pants up. We gotta go.
I was telling her about Mesopotamia.
I swear.
Yep, that's it. Don't forget the holy water, Father. So anyway, that's probably a different. I would like a mafia sanction. I like that idea. That's a great idea, right? A black car drives by. They super soak her with fucking. It's a drive-by with holy water. No license plate. What the fuck?
Headlights are off.
Headlights are off. Back when you could turn your headlights off. Yep. Thanks, technocracy, deciding when I can put my lights on and off. Stupid.
How else am I supposed to slay the demon secretly?
Absolutely.
Thanks, GM.
Yep. But now, so Karis, bullshit aside, goes to have a dialogue.
Should we talk about Karis a little bit?
Please do.
And what we...
talk about his baggage coming here.
Yeah, because
Mama.
he has this whole thing with his mom who talks with her tongue really almost poking out of her mouth.
I don't think she has teeth.
I think she probably doesn't, so I'm sorry.
She didn't go full Leonard Nimoy with the dentures. I have and always will be your friend.
Oh, man.
Spock. I know another Kirk in a different movie that's better than this one. It's called Wrath of Khan. Live long and prosper.
All I can do is picture in my head.
Scanning. Sorry. It's fucked up. Anyway, you're saying?
Yeah. Dimmy and his mom.
his wonderful Greek mom.
Yeah, so I think the mom lives in New York.
Yeah.
So they're not close together.
Does she?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this takes place in D.C., which is where Georgetown University is. Mm-hmm. Largely in D.C.
So Dimmy has some guilt about not being able to look after his mom, who still lives alone, is old, has a leg injury. But he goes to visit. This happens much earlier, and then things progress to mom being in the hospital, having had some kind of. I'm not sure what happened to her, but then she gets transferred to a mental hospital because she's like shouting at the radio or something, yep. Not behaving in a way that they would accept in a normal hospital. And he goes to visit again, and I think it's his uncle, the mom's brother, who's putting blame on him, like saying,
that guy
like,
sucks.
Yeah. What does he say? He's like, if you'd be a psychologist instead of a priest,
correct.
She would be in a penthouse now.
Yep.
So nice guilt.
What
guilt
did you
tripping
do for her, you fuckhead?
Yeah, like and he's like, who's gonna pay for her to be in an institution? You and just all kinds of making him feel real nice.
Yep.
And we don't see it. Nothing. I think it's Chris hears about the story. This is another interesting thing that doesn't get addressed on screen. It's just told through other people what happens. Like, oh, the mom died. And
off camera.
Off camera. And we don't even see his initial reaction, Karis's initial reaction until...
I like that idea.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
Do you know why I like it? Because I don't want the movie to make that movie about that.
Yeah.
And you'd have to spend a decent amount of time on that. I like that it's just an after effect.
Yeah. But it clearly has an effect on him.
Yes.
The friend goes to visit him when he's in his room drinking.
Yep. And the same friend that knows Chris.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the
Father Dyer.
Father Dyer.
Right. Indeed.
Yep.
So, and they have he has a talk with some other older priest.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about, no, that's before, where he says he might be losing his faith.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
talk about that, because he doesn't get into that why too much. I guess a little bit.
Like before all this stuff with the mom, I think he's just burdened by being the psychologist on campus,
Right.
where he feels like he can't take on the burden of all these people coming to him, and that it's making him lose his faith. And then all of this happens with mom, which is obviously testing his faith even more.
Because he has no respite from the burden of others.
Yeah.
It's at work, it's at home, right?
So he can't take care of his mom because he has the burden of taking care of all these other people.
Right.
And the guilt of all of it tumbling down is just, must be immense.
Indeed.
And that's what all this baggage he brings with him when he comes into the situation with Reagan.
Did you want to say something about that, Scott?
Well, that's the whole part of this that I really enjoy, is that he is at this crossroads of conflict of conviction for religion. And he still offers his help because he's a psychologist. He wants to help people, even though he's burdened, like Maja said. He takes Chris's, takes her plight as his own, and it's the really cool part about the situation is that he doesn't have the faith he needs to do this.
No, he doesn't,
and that's compelling.
And he's not
to me.
convinced and he's not convinced he needs to yet.
No, not yet, but I like that. I like that he's not just like, okay, let's go in there with God and my fancy dresses and my nice little trinkets and ornaments, and I'll get rid of this demon. It's more of like, I don't think I can do this. I'm not sure if I can do this. And then he meets with Reagan, and then he kind of figures out that there's something going on. There's definitely something, and he starts thinking about getting some help. But I like that. I like that it's not just a gung-ho priest, that it's someone with the conflict of his own convictions about his faith. I love that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And in that first meeting, you can see there's something, this guy, and I'm sorry, I should know their names. His name is, what's the name of the man that plays this guy?
Jason Miller.
Jason Miller. Jason Miller's fantastic because he has this demeanor about him that's just so calm. Doesn't he just seem unflappable early?
Well, he just reminds me of like a DC Rocky. And I don't mean that in like a disparaging way. Like a boxer who's kind of, he's down to earth, he's a priest, but he's not one of those lofty priests. He's down in the shit with everyone else. And he has a cool collectiveness to him.
Indeed. Yep. And it's at this point where we get a line where he says, why not make those restraints disappear, or something along those lines. And it said that would be too vulgar a display.
Yeah, a vulgar display of power.
I love that.
It's Pantera.
I think that's an excellent response. Because I think part of what you want to do if you're a demon is you don't necessarily want to reveal with certainty that you are there to be in possession, because the demon doesn't want an exorcist to take place, correct?
Yes.
But it also wants to cause doubt. So the demon has kind of a tough mission, because if you gain the ire and you make it so clear that you've inhabited this person and that you're trying to take her soul, her body, everything else, then there's going to be an exorcism that takes place, right? So you don't want to be too vulgar, but you also want to create enough havoc to cause all this spiritual doubt, which we know ultimately is its goal.
Also, a lot of demons and a lot of exorcisms that I looked up, the demon never wants to tell the people who they are.
The name,
because once you know the name, you know the certain ways to exorcise the demon.
That's right.
Isn't that used in the Conjuring movies?
It is.
Valak.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty common actually, because it's something they used to use where certain demons didn't like certain prayers and had different things that affected them, and so they would hide who they were. That's why the demon says he's the devil right off the bat.
Yeah. Probably lying, right? Which gets back to this. What did we open the show with? For he said unto him, come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, what is thy name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. Right? I'm guessing Jesus is pretty good at exorcisms. So,
he was the first exorcist.
So when when the demon Jesus is drawing out, according to Matthew, I think is the section of the Bible.
Yep.
He's like, we are legion, we are many. You're like, fuck. It doesn't, again, it's that answer is great because it provokes such fear because like, fuck, there's legions of this shit we have to deal
rid of
with.
me.
We're always in this battle.
Yep.
And
You
I'm
can get
just
rid of me,
nothing.
but there's more behind me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love the detail of how the demon is taunting Karas because he gives a little bit, but then refuses to show the display of power. Because what he does is speaks in the voice of the bum that Karas
Yes.
encountered earlier. He's like, spare a penny for an old altar boy or whatever he's saying in the voice of the bum. And Karas is like, wait, is something actually going on here? And then instantly he asks the question of like, what was my mother's maiden name? And no response.
No response. Maybe knows, maybe doesn't know. But Karas is thinking about it. He's thinking about it a lot. And he ends up concluding that, well, maybe this is something that needs to happen. And it happens when he goes back again at night and he sees the fucking words on her skin appear. Right?
Yeah. Help me.
Right. Help me. And he's like, okay. The room's freezing cold, a great detail. But this is the moment that pushes him to go, okay, something's up.
Demon
Wanna
had one hell of a ab workout regimen. You see that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, damn, dude.
Let's listen to this scene where he goes to, I'm going to assume is some sort of authority in the church hierarchy.
You're convinced that it's genuine?
I don't know. No, not really, I suppose. But I have made a prudent judgment that it meets the conditions set down in the ritual.
You would want to do the exorcism yourself.
Yes.
Might be best to have a man of experience, maybe someone who spent time in foreign missions.
I want to pause right here. Also, this is a very wise decision by this other man. His name is Bishop Michael. To not just throw him to the wind. Now, one of the things we've been talking about with Karas is his loss of faith. What does that mean? I think we hear that term thrown around a lot, lost faith, but I think it probably means different things to different people. What the hell does it mean to Karas? Losing faith, does that mean he doesn't believe in God? Does that mean maybe he doesn't believe he can live the path of God, but he still believes? What does it mean? What does it look like? A crisis of faith. We don't really know. It doesn't really matter. We don't need to know the answer. It's just something cool to think about, right? Unless anybody wants to venture a guess.
Well, I think it's a crisis of faith. Is that maybe he just has a lackluster feeling for the religion he's part of, or maybe he doesn't feel connected to God because of the stuff that happened with his mother, how she kind of lost her mind at the end. She's living in this terrible mental hospital with no creature comforts, and his mother is basically turns her back on Demi because you put her in this shitty place. She said, "Why you do this to me, Demi? I don't belong here." And it's heartbreaking. And I think maybe that he has a problem with that. Like, why would God do this to me and to my mother, even though I'm one of his people? I'm one of his servants. Maybe it's that.
Did you have something to say there?
No, I'm just thinking like maybe it doesn't mean losing faith entirely, but he just doesn't want to be a priest anymore. He doesn't want to be what's the proper phrase, like a servant of faith.
Right. I think I like what you're saying there. Jesus.
You
Jesus
okay in
fucking
there?
Christ.
Inhale a little Pazuzu in your throat.
Get the holy water, Masha. Get him.
Yep. Time to fuck me now. Ow. But my penis hurts. So, yowie.
That doesn't go in there.
It doesn't go in there. Get that thing out of my diamond-shaped hole. So, I think also, how horrible is it that his last interaction with his mother was that, her being so upset with him? That sucks.
Yeah. It's
That
your last
sucks.
memory.
But, and maybe, it's funny, you saying like these horrible things happen. Part of me wonders if that would affect a man like Karras who did have faith at one time, because if there's one thing most of these dudes understand is that life is suffering. It's difficult. This temporal blink of a moment where you are alive is so brief that you will be rewarded in the kingdom of heaven forever. Don't worry about this bullshit you're going through now with your flesh. It's nothing. So I don't know, maybe, but yeah, just that. Maybe I'm not the guy, but suddenly he's like, I want to do the exorcism. So in a very short span, he has seen something that we've all seen that has convinced him, fuck. And one of the people on Discord, Master of Rockets, said, what would it take for you to believe? What would you have to see? I'll read it precisely. I look forward to hearing what it would take for you to believe in an actual demon possession.
Damn.
What would it take? Well, I don't think it would take much for me. You know, exhausting all of the sort of secular things, the medicines, the psychologies, seeing floating and all this other shit, I would be pretty fucking convinced that some other thing was inhabiting this girl. 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, if you go ahead, Scott.
I was gonna say, if I think anything physical that would be completely abnormal to the person I knew, i.e., like thrashing on the bed like that, or floating, or having an incredible amount of strength and acting strange. I think that's all it would take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take much after you're convinced that it's not some kind of a hoax where other people are involved and there's like special effects and everything. And it would have to be in person because these days you can't trust anything on a video.
Yep. Good shit.
Yeah.
No, man, it's I don't think it'll take much to make a million, honest with you. So I appreciate that question. But no, man, I think it's I think it doesn't surprise me that Karras right away. Right? He's like, yeah, whatever. So let me continue this clip.
Stand here. Let's see who's around. In the meantime, I'll call you as soon as I know.
Kiss it.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Well, he does know the background. I doubt there's any danger in just having him assist. There should be a psychiatrist present anyway.
What about the Exorcist? Have you any ideas?
How about Lancaster Merrin?
Marin. Well, I had notion he was over in Iraq. I think I read that he was working on a dig near Nineveh.
Yeah, you're right, Mike, but he's finished. Came back 3 or 4 months ago. He's at Woodstock now.
What's he doing there? Teaching?
No, he's working on another book.
Don't you think he's too old, Tom? How's his health?
Must be all right. He's still running around digging up tombs. Besides, he's had experience.
I didn't know that.
10, 12 years ago, I think, in Africa. The exorcism supposedly lasted months. I heard it damn near killed him.
That's always the thing that we fail to remember when we think of, we got to exorcise the demon. Like, get the holy water, put the thing, say a couple words, bing, bang, boom. But this idea of this tug of war with the battleground being this innocent child, just a tug of war for months is insane.
Like how taxing that would be on you, even if you were a young man. Like you're seeing him. He's very, very infirm. He's taking some kind of heart medicine or something.
He must.
It looks
be.
like.
Yep, he must be. And they get Merrin in. This is kind of the end of the movie. This entire exorcism piece. That
Here's the
phenomenal fog shot with the light coming through her window as the cab pulls away.
If only we had Tubular Bells playing during this scene, it would be absolute perfection.
Indeed, we could.
We could.
We may in post. You may be hearing it as we speak. But man, he shows up at your door. Are you feeling confident?
You know what? Like, if you're looking for like someone with experience, I would go with an older clergyman.
Me too.
I'd feel. I mean, I would feel pretty safe if I'm going to be fighting demons in my upstairs bedroom. Yeah.
I would feel fantastic if I saw Max von Sydow standing outside my fucking door. Like, let's go.
What arrogance, what outrageousness. Yes. He just starts yelling at the demon. You're like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I get him, man.
I salute you. No, I love this idea. This dude showing up. I think he's great.
His makeup is so good. There were some comments, some people were saying that they also assumed that he was that age. I did too for a long time.
Indeed.
And that in later movies he was ancient. That's Paul Brown on Facebook. And Matthew Lewis says that he out Wilford Brimley to Wilford Brimley.
I think when we talked about this many, many, many years ago, I feel like it was a revelation in real time. Like I was like, holy shit, he's only in his 40s? The fuck?
If you look in certain scenes, you can see where they didn't put the makeup on the back of his neck.
Yep.
Like he's pale as a ghost in the face, and on the back of the neck, he's kind of tan.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like, yeah, I thought he was like 80 years old in this. So when I still saw him, acting for another 20 years after this, I was like, how?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he looks like that when he's older. Usually when they do old makeup on people, they look just weird. But that's what he looked actually when he aged. It's so well made
That's
for
a
the
great
70s.
point. He did look exactly like this as he aged. Maybe a little more color in his face, but at one point as they're heading up, first of all, the second he gets there, Marin, it knows his name immediately.
Yeah, there was the recordings.
He doesn't bat an eyelash, Marin. This dude is gangster.
Like I said, he'd been in that one. He had already done an Exorcist that took months.
Yeah.
So he's a well-weathered, spiritual warrior. So he's ready.
Bunch of details. Number one, Kara says to him, we're dealing with 3 distinct personalities. And it's at that point where Marin goes, there's only one. Just that experience to go, it's confusing you. There's one, it's the demon, period. Everything
playing
else
games with you.
is playing games with you. I'm here for the one. And he just gets to work with that real Belichick mentality. He just gets to work. Also, another great detail, the bed completely padded out so she doesn't hurt herself.
Yeah.
Awesome
like that.
detail. It's because they know she's going to fling her fucking head around. They don't want her to bash her brains out.
Well, someone somewhere said that it's subliminal messaging to have a phallic shape on the bedposts.
Is that one of our
No.
listeners?
No, it was.
I'm
not listeners. It was like a critique of the movie at the time.
Okay.
That it contains
like,
subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's real subliminal when she's slamming a crucifix into her fucking vulva. Good thing we got the subtle things.
Yeah.
Fuck me, lick me. And real subtle. It's a good thing we got that hidden phallus on the wall. Stop it. It's just padding, you ding dongs.
What dick looks like that? Come on.
You got some problems if it looks like that.
Yeah,
Jesus,
right?
that's
The
a different-
Exorcist is the least of your worries if your dick looks like that.
You'd be praying for Pazuzu to take you over.
Please fix my penis.
Take my soul, but give me my dick. Every guy ever. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. Just ignores it.
Did you ever see the Simpsons episode where they said they had it say your mother sews socks that smell? And I was a kid, I laughed my ass off at that.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But no, man, this is phenomenal shit here. Incredible sequence of events.
They must have made that room so cold because their lips are blue.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking cold.
And you
How did they
obviously
do
see
that?
everyone's breath.
Do we know?
They literally got to make the room cold.
With what? They put fucking ice cubes in their shoes.
Yeah, right.
Like, how do you make a room cold? I mean, I guess
Air conditioning.
the AC, yeah, I guess, but how fucking cold can you make? You must have to seal it or something. I think Maj is looking it up. And while you guys look it up, I think I'm going to take a minute to talk a little bit about membership. Oh no, Maj is not in the membership shot. I should be selling with the best face of the bunch, by the way. So I'll bring you back. So I'm going to pause the movie and talk a little bit about membership. So listen, here's the deal. We have a back catalog of episodes approaching 600, man. 600 episodes. And I tell people this all the time. About a year ago, so it's October, at the end of last December, we lost all of our members, which is insane. And we've recovered a lot of those members, but we still have a lot to go. And I know people listening to this are going to go, oh, for fuck's sake, stop begging. Begged like a fucking dog.
Like a dog.
Like a dog.
Yeah, I'm begging for your money. No, I'm simply telling you, you listen to this show and you're like, God, I'd really like to listen to more of this show. And maybe you've worked your way through the back catalog. Maybe you're looking for more. Maybe you don't quite understand the amount of work and time that goes into something like this, and you just get your free content and you move on because that's what you do. You're too cool to support. I don't support nothing. And that's fine too. But for those of you who aren't that cool, and for those of you who are interested in supporting something that you really like and care about, I'm going to assume if you're this deep into the show, you like us, and maybe you're starting to care about us. Maybe it's your first episode. I don't know. But we've been in the game a long fucking time. We've never, ever had an advertisement on the show. We've never, in 9+ years, have we ever told you to buy somebody's fucking socks that were cooked in hell. We've never told you to buy a fucking latte. Quite the contrary. We never sold you a stupid mattress or dick pills. No, we never did any of that. We simply just relied on membership support. To quote NPR, this episode is funded by you, our listener. And there is a lot of truth in that. Would we still be doing it? Sure. Would the production value be as high? Would I be able to retain talent? Would I be able to do all the shit I do? Would we have moved to YouTube? Probably no. Everything costs fucking money. We put a lot of money right back into the show and we pay ourselves some money. I've structured my entire life around this fucking show. That's crazy. I took a career path which nets me a lot less money, and that's my problem, not yours, than I could have had I done things a little bit differently. And that's okay because it gives me the time I like to do the thing I love. And let me tell you, it's very difficult to do the thing you love. It's a constant fucking hustle. And yeah, and that's my pitch, man. So it's not just that. I'm not just here to make you feel guilty, to make you feel shitty. That's not how I want to sell. I'm selling you on the idea of you like this shit. There's so much more on the backlog. So many more episodes. After this, we're going to go watch Trick or Treat. We're going to do it as a watch. It's only going to be available to members. There's tons of content like that. Next time, we're doing a Satanic Panic episode as part of our companion piece to A Nightmare on Elm Street, which is happening next week. And that's going to be for members only. And it's going to be so awesome. I can't wait for that episode. And that's what we do. We don't just say, oh, support us and go to sleep at night knowing you support us. Nah, man, that's not how fucking America works. We say if you want to support us, you're going to get something for that support. You're going to get something that has value. And that value is more content from us. Discounts on t-shirts if you care. If you're an emissary or an imperator, you're going to get some stickers sent to you in the mail. If you're an imperator, you're going to be part of a quarterly draw, which brings me to a very important part of housekeeping. Kevin Campbell. Is that his name? Kevin Campbell. If you're listening to this, fucking read your email, dean@libertystreetgeek.net. You won the Imperator Quarterly. I haven't heard from you. I tried to email you. And if I don't hear from you, I'm going to give it to somebody else. So hurry up and respond just so we can get our programming in order. No, you got time. If you, maybe it's the wrong, hopefully he listens to this. But yeah, so every quarter, if you support us at the $20 a month level, you get a chance to win a movie covered, which is awesome. And We have a vote we do. You know, we're going to be voting on the Halloween Horror Draft. Hope you guys listen to that episode. And we're going to be voting on the winning team. And that's something you get. There's so many perks in membership. It's fucking great. Why not just give it a shot? $5 a month. That's crazy talk. Do you know how much a fucking latte costs? Because I got one the other day. Every once in a while, and don't come at me on social media. Don't be on my wife's social media going, is that a latte in these hands? Is that a latte? With your white knuckles. with your head exploding, your blood pressure getting out of control like 160. Guess what? It is. But I got to do market research. I got to know how much is the lot. I got to buy the latte. I got to remind myself why a latte costs $7 fucking. And yeah, I went to a Halloween store with my wife and drank a fucking latte. Okay? And guess what? It sucked. It wasn't worth $7. It was fucking cold in 2 minutes. It stunk. And it was $7 fucking bucks. $2 more than 600 episodes, almost, of content that's fucking amazing. What are you doing? Stick the latte up your ass. It'd be more healthy for you. Stop. What I'm asking for is this. Let's bring it down. I'm asking you to give us a shot, okay? Let me slip into your ear holes. I think you'll like it. $5 a month, lsgmedia.net. That's lsgmedia.net. Give it a shot, bitch. Okay, well, you guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk about the exorcism. Ooh. Should I play this sound effect from the latest Kirking Off episode? Ready? This one?
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of movie that this
Boing!
Boing. They're just going to bitch slap the devil like this. There you go. That's Kirk slapping Shalane. It's a good one. All right. We'll be back in a few. And we're back to wrap this sucker up. We're in the room. We're having an exorcist. We're hoping to save poor little Reagan's body and soul. And the room is fucking cold. Really, really cold. And I think in the break, you guys dug up a little bit of trivia on this cold room. Maja, tell me about it.
Yeah, so they brought in these restaurant-style air conditioners, 4 of them, to bring the temperature on set as low as 40 degrees.
That's fucking cold.
It's pretty damn cold.
40 degrees below zero.
It can be.
Wait, what?
I'm looking at 2 different sources. One says 40 degrees, one says 40 degrees below zero, which would be dangerous.
Yeah, I don't think it's...
Well, here's the thing. 40 degrees is not even below freezing, so you wouldn't have you'd have the cold breath, but you wouldn't have the cold face and everything, right?
If you're in for 40 degrees long enough, you
That's
will.
true. It's true.
Yeah, because if like think about it, a refrigerator is probably like 38 degrees. I think your refrigerator is like 38 degrees. I think if you go into a walk-in freezer for like hours, you're probably going to get pretty fucking...
Yeah, if it was 40 degrees below zero, which is the same in Celsius, which is the one I understand.
Right.
I have been in temperatures like that once in my life.
Being from Finland.
Yeah. And
brutal.
you cannot be, like, you have to be in so many layers of clothing, and the cold is just, that's why I was like, oh shit, this is why they call it frostbite, because it feels like the air is biting at you.
Yeah.
Like any bare skin, it can't be
40 below you things start to freeze right away off your face. Like your
you're
nose
probably
would be in trouble. But 40 degrees is fucking cold if you're not dressed for it and you're just hanging out there. Not just 40 degrees, but those, if there are restaurant style ACs in there, they're just blowing on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's cold, man.
Well, see, like it's weird. You saw 40. I'm just looking at another article I opened up, and they say 20. Now it's 20 below zero. I'm like, dude, I don't know. That's still really cold.
No matter what, they made the room cold.
Yeah, it's cool. It looks really cool.
And I'm sure they're uncomfortable. And I love that. Yeah, it looks incredible. But this is where things really escalate. And one of the things I enjoyed about this, and we hinted this a little earlier, is just this idea that it takes such a long time. We don't know how long exactly, but it takes a long time. Oh, those images of the face.
The flashes of the Pazuzu face.
Scary. Those things gave me nightmares as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. And that makeup became like a thing, right? That was such a style of makeup you'd see on people. It's almost like a skeleton effect.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be Pazuzu's face manifest?
Yes. Yeah. I think it's a woman that they did that to.
It is. It's the same woman who does the shots where the intense ones instead of Linda Blair.
Okay, got
Yep,
it.
same
Makes
person.
sense.
Eileen Dietz.
Eileen Dietz. Shout out to Eileen Dietz. Bringing it on.
Oh, yeah.
God, the tongue shit is nuts. But no, I this is harrowing stuff. And all they can do, like, it's such a weird thing to think about. You're just doing the ritual. You're saying the prayers. And there must be, I wonder if there's like a section when you're like in Exorcist training where they're like, this particular phrase, they hate this one. This part, they fucking hate this part of the story. They hate it. So if you're struggling and the room is 40 below zero or just 40, whatever, just keep doing this phrase. They are not fans of this phrase. They'll probably spit pea soup at you, but keep it up. If the bed levitates, we're going to go to the next page. This is for any type of bed levitation. This shit right here will really piss them off.
Well, guess what? There is an actual handbook
Absolutely.
called Of Exorcisms and Certain Supplications, an 84-page document of the Catholic Church containing the current version of the rite of exorcism authorized for use in Latin Church.
Should we have read excerpts from that? Should we do a bonus episode where we... No, I don't want to fucking tempt that.
That book stayed the same up until 1990. It came out in 1615 or something, right around there. And it stayed the same. They didn't update it until 1990. That's fucking nuts.
That is crazy.
Why did they update it in 1990?
They were having, believe it or not, there was more exorcisms in the late 90s than there were from like 300 years ago.
Satanic panic.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick, my neighbor had she had her son have an exorcism because he was very foul. He swore a lot, and he also didn't listen to him whatsoever. And they were very, very, very religious, so they had an exorcism. I remember seeing something about it when I was a kid in the neighborhood.
And he grew up to shoot up Columbine. No, I'm kidding.
I haven't seen him since then, so I don't know what happened.
So you can't say whether or not it was a success.
Yeah, right. I mean, he could have jumped out the window. He could have fallen down some stairs and had his neck turned around 180 degrees. We don't know.
Tough to say.
Who knows?
Tough to say. There is a phenomenal shot at the 1 hour, 42 minute, 24 second mark. And it is a very slight bit of effect that is excellent, and it's unnerving.
Yeah.
Can you, I know you know the technique. It's just a superimposing,
Yeah,
Masha?
just superimposed.
In whose face is one face over another?
Yeah, it's Reagan and then the demon Pazuzu.
Superimposed over the top. So the eyes look a little askew. There's like an extra...
Yeah, it looked like there's a double eye. And then when the face moves, her lip moves in this weird way. And it always freaked me out. I'm like, how did they do that? Because I haven't seen it in high definition. So...
Yeah, and it's funny when you say high definition, I think back about Scott saying, oh, they missed Marin's neck makeup. I'm like,
yeah.
HD shit, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't see any of that.
You wouldn't see any of it. But you should check out Maja's art account.
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
It's in the show notes. Click on it.
It's pretty rad. I shared
it
today. She just
did this. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, it freaked me out. I was like, you got magic, Maja. That's magic to put that shit on paper.
Yeah, I did a drawing of this exact scene.
It's really cool. But no, you can follow all of us in the show notes if you're into that type of thing.
Yeah, check out everybody's social media, not just mine.
Especially mine. Kidding. Fucking asshole. So, it obviously this escalates and goes further, and I completely forgot because I'm going to keep a body count, right? It's something that Hamtron brought up, right? Didn't he say something? He said something like that on Discord.
Yeah, like just keep a kill count.
So how many die in this movie? Because oh my fucking God, I can't believe that they go on, they take a break, and when Marin goes upstairs, when Karras goes upstairs, Marin's dead.
Yeah. And you don't, again, another scene that lets your mind do it, because Reagan is out of her restraints. She's just sitting there looking at him, and he's dead.
Yeah.
You don't know what happened to him. You don't know if he had a heart attack or if Reagan killed him. You don't know. And I love that because they never tell you.
And I don't know how they teach CPR at Georgetown University, but it's not good technique. He's just wailing on his chest like fucking Bones in Star Trek 6.
Look, he's wailing on Reagan right now. All those boxing tournaments he fought in really coming to light right now.
So I want to talk about this. This is a pivotal moment in this movie because he really does go at, but he says, you bastard. He's talking to the demon.
Yeah, not to Reagan.
And at one point we see this flash across his face, which makes us think there was a bit of transference with the demon from her to him. And then he says no, and then he's out the window. Yeah. So what happens here, Scott? What do you think happens here?
Well, demons, if you invite a demon in, they can invoke themselves into you. They can absorb into you. And that's what he does. He finally snaps when he sees Marin down on the ground, dead. He turns around and starts wailing on Reagan, and then he's like, no, take me instead. Take me, leave her. And within a second, you see his eyes turn to green just for a moment. And then it looks like for a second, he's going to start going towards Reagan. Yeah. And then it snaps out of it. He says, no. And then he's Father Kerrigan again. And then he jumps out the window.
Indeed.
And that's a way. And the awful part of this is that when they go down to the stairs, he's still alive.
I know. This scene was rough. In Dyer is a real Dyer. That takes a lot of courage to kneel next to a dying guy and be close to him and give him last rites. That takes a certain type of individual.
Yeah, and your friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most people will not come within a country mile of that scene. They'll defer responsibility. They'll step away. They'll pick up their phone and call 911, but they're not going to go in there.
I don't know. A lot of those people look like they really want to get in there the way they're pushing.
Yeah, that is kind of strange.
That they want to just see it, I think.
Yeah.
But he shows up and he just kneels down next to him, and that poor fuck just dies on the bottom of the stairs. So, what happened? I know we talked literally about what happened. Masha, what's your interpretation of what happened here? What do you think when Karras goes out the window?
So I think the demon is in him, obviously.
Yep.
It's left Reagan and has gone into Karras. And I assume when the host body dies, then the demon has to leave. And I don't know why it can't just fly right back into Reagan. Maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe it takes persuasion and takes some time to get in there, and it can't just re-enter.
I'm sure it has rules.
Yeah, sure it has some rules.
I think the only reason it got Reagan in the first place is because she was playing with a Ouija board.
Mm.
Yeah. You know what I love about this movie? That they don't say that that's why.
Right.
I love that. It doesn't, we don't know. It's just a caution.
There's many hints. There's the noises in the attic. Is the thing living in there? Did it fly through in the window? Is it the Ouija board? And one thing that we didn't talk about was the recordings.
Indeed.
That Karen that he took, and the demon says Marin backwards in there. So that made me think that was it always targeting Marin?
That's a great question, right? Which would lend some credence to the opening sequence, which even though I like it, it's still a bit mystifying from a script standpoint, other than to highlight the old world. Was Marin always the target?
Yeah, I mean, if you go that route, that's every story, especially in the 90s, where they excavate some kind of a artifact and then it gets transported to America and somebody gets possessed, which is kind of goofy. So I don't really want to think that this is the case here, but there's some kind of a connection.
Yeah.
Or what if the demon that he exorcised for months is the demon that found Reagan?
It's possible, but I think if we want to, I think we're overthinking it, because I
Probably.
think if we're just going to say, oh, it's Pazuzu, he saw Pazuzu's statue at ground zero where it may have had some sort of power in the waking world, and suddenly it's the same one here, then maybe that's the only real connection. I'm not sure. But that's why I liked your interpretation at the front, Scott, which is like maybe Pazuzu's a protector, maybe trying to protect the girl from a more, let's say, Judeo-Christian demon.
Yeah, something newer.
Indeed. But back on Karis real quick before we get off of it, I would like to believe this. I like to, and I know this is going to be a complicated statement, especially since suicide's a sin, according to Catholic faith. But maybe when Karis felt himself get possessed, he knew to take control, he was going out the window and went out willingly.
Yeah.
Part of me likes to think he dove out the fucking window.
Oh yeah, I thought that was the thing.
Yeah.
That's
So you're
what he
thinking
did.
it's obvious. That's why I didn't say it. But I like, did the demon just fling him out? But I think he just flung himself out.
No, yeah, that's
and
what I thought.
and that could be considered a sacrificial death.
Yeah.
So I think he would be elevated to heaven, as it were, in that instance.
If you watch that scene carefully, right before he goes, no, right before that, he's got the green eyes and you can see he's possessed.
Yep.
And then when he says no, it's like an instant, it's like
it's a cut.
It's a cut real quick and he's back to normal and then he jumps out the window.
Yep. Which was two things. One, did the demon leave him and then fling him out the window and it's still floating around? Well, the sequels. No. I think it's showing him exercising, pardon the pun, control over the situation, right? Yeah. Instead of the demon flinging him out the window, it's him electing to destroy the demon by giving up himself to save her. And I think that's fucking awesome.
It's one hell of a way to end the movie.
What a fucking movie. This movie's fantastic. Again, it's dark. The movie that precedes this is Rosemary's Baby, 1968, speaking of Polanski. And that movie is fucking also grim and scary and weird. And I just really enjoyed this. Like you guys were saying at the beginning, we spend, and a lot of the listener comments reflected this, but we get to know these people. We get to know who they are for a half hour. And I think one of the people who said that was Roger D. He says, Reagan's transformation was so frightening and shocking, I can't help but think I need to protect myself against the devil. I bonded and we talked about how to deal with the fear, incredibly frightening images. Oh, that's after the fact. But just this idea of, oh, wow, no, this is, I want to read this real quick. Another horror movie I saw way too young. I was around Reagan's age. Oh, so okay, perfect. Coming from a Catholic family, church every Sunday and CCD classes. This movie fucked me up for a long time. Questioning my inherited belief system, being a kid and internalizing this thinking possession could possibly happen was fucking terrifying. It pushed me towards strengthening my faith to combat that prospect of being possessed. Crucifix over my bed, which was blessed, made sleeping a bit better, but restlessness was always a constant. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Who is the one saying we kind of get to know this family and then holy shit, all this terrible stuff happens to them? Well, you know who you are. I thought that was a really good idea. And that's we talked a lot about this in the beginning. That's what separates this movie from so many other movies is that we care. We don't want to. A lot of horror movies, you're like, waiting for this crazy moment to happen. Maybe you hope one gets away, but you're looking to see a bunch of death. There's nobody in this movie where I was like, I can't wait for them to get it.
Well, maybe Roman Polanski.
Yeah, maybe him. He was annoying. But, yeah. No, it's good shit.
Can we talk about the music?
Please do.
Because, I mean, we went past it, but it would have been great to play a clip of the very notorious theme that has now become forever associated with Exorcist. But that is, I just want to mention because it's Mike Oldfield and he's one of my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
love his music. I've introduced you, Dean, to his music.
Yeah.
And it's a cool story how it came to be, because the director just completely randomly stumbled upon it. He had discarded the original score that was made by somebody else and just went to like a recording studio's library to just look for something, put something on, and was like, okay, here we go. Which then elevated the album. It was Mike Oldfield's first album, which, by the way, he recorded when he was 19.
Insane.
Damn.
I highly recommend his other music.
Yeah, it's great. I love that repeating phrase too.
Tubular bells. Hell
do
yeah.
they call it an ostinato, perhaps? I don't remember. But yeah, it's really cool and just perfect for what it's trying to do, right? It's weird because it's not super dreadful. It has an air of mystery about it, and that's something I like about it. But it's not the apprehension engine from Witch making you go, oh God, I don't want to hear this.
Friedkin, the director, he said he originally wanted something almost like a nursery rhyme.
Oh,
so
it's
it's
kind of
eerie.
close then.
Yeah.
By the way, that was used to great effect in Nightmare on Elm Street,
Right.
which we'll be talking about next week. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for The Exorcist. I think we've talked this one into the dirt. What a fantastic movie. I fucking love it. Any closing thoughts on any of this stuff that you guys want to say before we go? I'll start with you, Scott. It's okay if you don't, by the way.
Go with God and be careful out there. That's all.
How about you, Masha?
No, I'm good. Maybe put a crucifix under your pillow, but nowhere else.
But nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
I'm not admitting it. All right. Thanks, guys. This has been a ton of fun. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.